Hi everyone, myself Rahul Malhotra from Masters of Business Information Systems course, Torrens University, Australia. Firstly, I hope everyone is going well in these tough days as the world is facing. So, I will present my presentation today about the project management process, methodologies, and its knowledge areas. So my presentation will start with a brief introduction about my presentation and will end with the logical conclusion. So starting with the introduction, I will discuss about the different project management topics such as the knowledge areas, its process groups and risks. So the all of my presentation will revolve around one of the IT project which I have been selected in my project, and this will enhance the capacity to apply the project management concepts in the practical context. So moving towards which of the IT project which I have selected is the Facebook, as the Facebook was discovered by the Mark Zuckerberg and his friends, as we all know about this thing. So they had no intention to scale it up to the size it has achieved today, but had faint ideas of how the information sharing platform can be expanded and stretched to serve different needs and demands on the one platform. So the PMI concepts will be applied to the Facebook in this project to demonstrate how these concepts can increase the efficiency of a project. So now I will discuss with the different PMBOK process groups. The different PMBOK process groups are the initiation, planning, execution, and the closure. So starting with the initiation, the project initiation at the Facebook was very informal in nature as it was a pet project and did not involve any major stakeholders so to require any documentation. So the next is the planning phase, as in this phase was initially done at the personal level, which involved intensive coding. After that, they did the execution of the project, as the execution is the Facebook is the continuational process. So after doing the initiation, planning, executing, they did the monitoring and the control. Monitoring is done using the data analysis. So in the lastly, they did the closing is done using the publishing the developed piece of the software. So after that, I will discuss with the PMBOK knowledge areas. The different PMBOK knowledge areas are the integration management, cost management, scope management, schedule management, resource management, quality management, and many others. Starting with the integration management, the concept of the integration has been used by the Facebook integrated horizontally a number of related services on its platform like Facebook Jobs, Facebook Advertisement, Facebook Live, etc. Next is the resource management. The scope of the project has been expanded beyond all expectations, but the size and the resource of the team have always been able to expand the support growth. The most important resource that needs to be procured is the human resource, which is done keeping the highest standards in the mind. So next I will discuss about the cost management. I don't think the cost management has never been a problem for the Facebook, as the revenue generated from the advertisements has been increasing at the rapid rate. Moving further towards the quality management, the quality of the deliverables has been assumed to a high, making sure that the human resource factor for itself of the high quality. Last but not the least is the risk management function. So the risk management function has been defined as the has been able to make use of the huge data sets to account for the degree influence of all the possible risks that can occur. Now, I will move further towards the risks that can threaten the IT projects of the Facebook. The risks which I have included in my presentation are the scope creep, user data privacy, fake news circulations, malware advertisements, and the legal non-compliance. Starting with the scope creep, the size of the market served by the Facebook is continuously evolving. New services are added to its portfolio every quarter. The news being Facebook's jobs platform, the budget gets swelled up and the projects get delayed. So next is the user data privacy. As we all know, the number of the profiles are there on the Facebook, and the people are using the misuse of the data. So by this, brand loyalty get decreases. Moving further towards the malware advertisements, so the malwares are targeted at the users by advertisers through their advertisements, and that can corrupt the devices of the people. So this thing can reduces the trust from the software. And now I will discuss about the fake news circulation. As we all know, the news from the unauthenticated sources is circulated heavily without restrictions on the Facebook. Government restrictions get strict about it. Last but not the least is the legal non-compliance, as the government policies in regards to the privacy and data protections are flirted, and this attracts fines and inquiries to the people. Now I will discuss about the different project risk management processes, as there are the different project risk management processes, which are the planning of the risk management, identifying risks, performing qualitative analysis, performing quantitative analysis, controlling of the risks. So starting with the planning of the risk management, we can do the planning of the risk management by the different techniques and tools, which are the analytical techniques, expert judgment, and holding different meetings. So with the in the expert judgment, the team has to take the advice of the expert in the that field, and in the meetings process, a whole of the team makes one meeting, and the advice of the each and every people are taken in the account. So next I will discuss about the identifying risks. For identifying risks, there are different tools and techniques which are applied for identifying the risks, but for applying these different tools and techniques, people has to take some inputs in the there. So these inputs can be the risk management plan, cost management plan, quality management plan, and after applying all of these inputs and tools and techniques, they get one output for which they have to maintain a risk register. So next I will discuss about the performing qualitative analysis. For performing qualitative analysis, they are having one risk register, and after applying the tools and techniques, so they get the updated project for which they can apply the qualitative analysis. So now in the last I will discuss about the controlling of the risk. The controlling of the risk can be done by the implementing different plans, monitoring all the risks. As by the controlling, it improves the efficiency of the risk response. So by controlling, efficiency of the project and the risk response can be increased. So now I will move towards the risk matrix. So the risk matrix is the grid for mapping as each risk occurring in the project and impacting on its project objectives. So in the risk matrix, in my presentation, I have rated as the scope creep and the identify theft as the medium degree, whereas in the fake news and the legal non-compliance as the higher degree. So now I will discuss about the different risk responses, as the risk response is one of the major factor. So I will discuss with the all of the risks which I have taken in the factor and discuss with the risk responses. So the firstly I will discuss with the fake news, which is one of the major factor I think in the these days. So Facebook has already started citing the source of a news, which is in the first step, and in the second step can also be done by start banning the sources from further publication. Next is the identify theft, as identify theft can be for its response strategy can be the end-to-end encryption and data protection measure needed to be integrated. After that I will discuss with the scope creep. This scope creep response strategy is the budgetary buffers can be created to provide cushion when scope creep puts financial strain on the operations. After that, I will discuss with the legal non-compliance. The legal framework need to be given a larger importance to avoid fines by employing a strong legal team. Last but not the least is the malware attack. So the malware detection can be done by the removal is a purely technical aspect of the risk management. So now I will conclude my presentation there. So I discussed about that this presentation has been able to present a discussion on the PMI concepts such as the body of knowledge described in the PMBOK process groups that help and schedule the task. So I hope that you all understand my presentation, and the presentation has been able to track the practices of Facebook to identify the PMI factors that have been applied knowledgeably or unknowingly that have been contributed to the success of the project. So just I will just sign off now. Thank you.